Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Amma ba'd, alhamdulillah, we are beginning the new series from this week, inshallah, azza wa jal. We'll speak about the details. We'll begin from the actual book next week, inshallah. We'll speak about how to get it, etc. As we go through some of the details. Today is just going to be an introductory lesson about the topic and why we chose the topic and the need for the topic, inshallah azza wa jal. Point number one, why did we choose this particular topic? As you know, I try to do with the Tuesday night lessons here at Regent's Park, I try to do something that fills the gaps between what's needed in the community. Alhamdulillah, there are many lessons right now with the other mashayikh in Sydney and beyond that are either in person or you can follow live online or listen to the recordings, whether it's to do with aqidah, whether it's to do with fiqh, whether it's to do with tafsir, and alhamdulillah, they are there. And I don't like to, if they are doing something, to also do it. We try to do our best to fill the gaps wherever they may be. One of the things that subhanallah is not taught and hasn't been taught for a while openly is the etiquette of seeking knowledge. The etiquette of seeking knowledge. So we thought, yalla, bismillah, let us inshallah azza wa jalla take something with the etiquette of seeking knowledge so that we can assist with the brothers who want to take the matter of knowledge seriously. And this should be every one of us. Alhamdulillah, many of you, you've been consistent every single week, coming and attending and listening. And some of you also study with some of the other mashayikh. What we want is to ensure that we have students who are living and abiding by the etiquette of a student of knowledge. We do not want to have students that, Allahumma barik, in aqidah they're strong, in fiqh they're strong, in sirah and tafsir they may be strong, but their akhlaq, their etiquette, the way that they carry themselves is not in line with their knowledge. This is not the way that knowledge is taken. We have the famous narration of Imam Malik rahimahullah, when he wanted to go and seek knowledge. He was a young man. His mother dressed him up in the dress of the scholars. And she told him to go to Al-Rabi'ah, who was one of the major ulama in Al-Madinah. And she said, to the meaning, تَعَلَّمْ أَدَبَهُ قَبْلَ عِلْمِهِ. Learn his etiquette, learn his mannerisms before you learn his knowledge. And the ulama, they have a very famous statement and very easy for everyone to memorize. Al-adab qabla al-talab. Al-adab qabla al-talab. Etiquette before the seeking of knowledge. If you have a student of knowledge who doesn't have etiquette, this is extremely dangerous. Why? Because knowledge is like a weapon. Knowledge is like a weapon. What happens now if if weapons are in the hands of the wrong people? Catastrophes. Catastrophes. But when weapons are in the hands of the right people, alhamdulillah, this assists in keeping society upright and proper. When we have students who have etiquette, they take knowledge the right way, they are able to use that knowledge and pass on that knowledge in the right way, and society becomes better. But if people are, mashallah, increasing in knowledge, but, a'yadhan billah, without understanding the etiquettes of the student of knowledge, then this leads to usually catastrophes. So we don't want this, we don't want complete ignorance, nor do we want students of knowledge without etiquette. This is why we started the series. Why this particular book, Iqtidaa-ul Ilm al Amal, the knowledge mandates actions. This is a book by Al-Khateeb Al-Baghdaadee, rahimahullah, and we'll speak about him more in detail next week, and about the book itself next week, inshallah. This is a book from the old ulama. He is not from the Salaf themselves. He's from the time just after the Salaf, in the 400 after the Hijrah period. Now, the 4th century. He's from that period. He, rahimahullah, was a great scholar, and he's a scholar that, tabarakallah, he had a lot of time. They call it tul nafas. He had a lot of time, and he had a lot of patience when it came to writing. His books are very, very, very famous, and he has books in a lot of different fields. And one of the things that's special about his books is the amount of athar that are in there, the amount of statements of the scholars that are in there. And this is why I wanted to choose his book, because it's a book related to the seeking of knowledge, and there's a lot of statements from the ulama the old ulama from the Salaf and just after the Salaf about the importance of the etiquettes of knowledge and the implementation of knowledge. So this is inshallah Azza wa Jal something that we can benefit from. The other alternative, there are other alternatives out there. The other famous alternative is the famous book Hilyat Talib al-Alam, the etiquette of the seeker of knowledge by Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd rahimahullah. This is a very famous book. And if you have not gone through this book, I highly recommend that you go through that book. The reason I didn't want to get through it is because, alhamdulillah, there are many shuruhat on that online. There are many explanations of that online by well-known, respected mashayikh in Arabic and Taban, obviously in English. If you go and you study that book, you get it. For you to read it by yourself, his language is a little bit hard. Sheikh Bakr rahimahullah. And so even the translation, it's not hard, but sometimes you don't get the full benefit because you don't understand exactly what's going on. Naam. So what you want to do is you want to get that with the explanation. And you get that by listening online. I didn't want to do something that's already been done. We thought we'd get out a little bit, connect ourselves to the ulama of old and be able to go through the book and explain inshallah Azza wa Jal. And those statements, you'll find inshallah a lot of benefit in it. You'll find a lot of benefit in it bi'idhnillah. The book itself, it's not available from Dar es Salaam. Abdul Rahman, Allahumma barik, he's printing them out for us. Now, for Jazakallahu khairan, he will be printing them out. He's got some ready, but we'll get a bigger number next week inshallah, and they'll be available for the brothers. They're for free, but whoever wants to make a donation to the Musalla, make sure it's on behalf of Abdul Rahman. He's not going to take any money from them, Jazakallahu khairan, but make a donation on to the Musalla if you want, and make sure part of that is the intention on behalf of Abdul Rahman, and also myself, taban. And he gives sadaqah on my behalf as well, Jazakumullahu khairan. The Arabic version is available at Dar es Salaam, which I also recommend to get. If you're a person who can understand and read a little bit of Arabic, even if you get it, and even if you can't go through all of it, but at least you have the Arabic references. So the book's all in English. So you have the English, and at least you have the Arabic too, and you'll be able to cross-reference. And if you want to memorize some of the statements, will be of great benefit, inshallah. And that book is available from Dar es Salaam. It's not a thick book at all. Very thin. Jayid, very thin book. Just tell them, and inshallah Azza wa Jal, and Sheikh Farhan, or whoever's there, will be able to assist you in that. Tayyib. Why is the etiquettes for a student needed? As we mentioned, we have a lot of brothers that are studying, alhamdulillah. One of our unfortunate realities in Australia is you don't have a lot of full-time students of knowledge. And it's not like the brothers that come to the lessons, their intention is to become mashayikh. From the brothers that attend lessons, I'll be surprised if 10% of them, their intention is to become mashayikh. Jayyid. So you have a lot of brothers who love knowledge. And a lot of brothers who want to be cultured. And they want to understand, they want to know, they want to listen. But it's not necessarily about reaching those high levels and memorizing, etc. After Jum'ah last week, I sent Sheikh Ahmed Sari. He was walking, and mashallah he's in the thobe and sunnah cap and he's holding a book. And I said, Wallah, you remind me of Egypt. And when we were in Egypt, you used to see this a lot. Brothers who, they're full-time students of knowledge. And they're always studying, tabarakallah. And again, the intention is to become mashayikh. Even if it's not the intention, we shouldn't neglect that which the mashayikh go through to become mashayikh. From amongst that is the etiquettes. Because if you have, as we mentioned, knowledge, it's like a weapon. And if you don't know how to use that weapon, you don't know how to go about that weapon, you can cause catastrophes. And we don't want that. We want to be the best of the best. We want to be the best of the best. And the only way you will be able to do that and have that if you learn the etiquette of seeking knowledge, which inshallah Azza wa Jal will go through. Also, alhamdulillah, we see new waves of brothers coming and studying, whether it's in these lessons or other lessons. And what we want is for those brothers also to go through what was studied before. That's why always the same topics need to be taught. Whether it's fiqh, aqidah, tafsir, seerah, whatever it is, topics need to be constantly repeated. The brothers that studied etiquette of seeking knowledge 5 years ago, alhamdulillah, they're at a higher level now. We want to make sure that we have covered that for ourselves and for the new brothers that are studying. Jayyid. Regarding a new student, someone, again, even if you don't want to be to the Shaykh level, you want to be someone who's well grounded in all Islamic sciences. You want to be someone who's well grounded in all Islamic sciences. That which comes as a responsibility when you're grounded in all Islamic sciences is that you actually represent the Islamic sciences that you take. If you have someone, he's the scholar of scholars. Now, you yourself, forget him, you yourself. If he's the scholar of scholars, and you want to ask him a question, he gets to you, get out of my face, not now. How would you feel? If you get out of my face, not now. How would you feel? Sure, Rayhan, how would you feel? Would you be happy? Even that happens to you a lot, yani. But you take it the right way. So it says, get out of my face, not now. Even though he's a scholar of scholars, are you going to have a connection with that person? You're not going to have a connection. Are you going to feel comfortable with that person? You're not going to feel comfortable. Are you going to attend his lesson again? There's a very good chance you're not going to attend. Imagine that person said, instead of get out of my face, not now, he said, get the F away from me. Using the actual word. Get the F away from me. What happens there? It becomes worse. It becomes worse. You're like, I mean, this guy even a sheikh? This guy is a munafiq. This guy is a hypocrite. Where's the implementation of his knowledge? Tayyib, question. How do you think your family will see you when you're trying to advise them? If you have that character, just in your speech, we haven't spoken about other things, just in your speech, you were rough with your family, or you used bad language. As a general, in your general language, you swore, etc. When you get to give them da'wah, because you studied something in aqidah, this is shirk, this is not allowed. Or you studied something in fiqh, this is how it's meant to be. Or you learn a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, this is sunnah, it's recommended, we should be like this. But they know you as a person with foul character, with a foul tongue. They're going to tell you, brother, go work on yourself before you come speak to us. True or not true? True. So, what did you need? You needed the etiquette of the student of knowledge. So that when you pass on that knowledge, you're actually representing the knowledge that you hold. Otherwise, people will not take from you. Part of the etiquette of a student of knowledge is the way that they dress. The way that they dress. This is spoken about a lot in other books. Not as so much here, but we'll, inshallah, Azza wa Jalla, mention it throughout. The way that you dress. Imagine you were here at Regent's Park and the cameras weren't working, so you were downstairs. So you can only hear the voice of the Khateeb. And he gave the best khutbah you've ever heard in your life. Best khutbah. So you want to come up and you want to see this person and you want to give him a kiss on the forehead. Allahu Akbar, what a khutbah. But you come upstairs and he's wearing an Everlast singlet giving a khutbah. What's going to happen? You're going to stop at the door, do a U-turn and go. And you're going to forget everything that he said in the khutbah. Did he do anything haram? He didn't do anything haram. You're allowed to wear a singlet. You're not showing your awrah. But was it appropriate? It wasn't appropriate. So him doing something that was not appropriate made you lose respect for that person. And you wouldn't take from them. Not because of something haram, because of something that was not appropriate. So you need to think, okay, now I'm coming to all of these lessons. I'm learning my religion. And I want to be a person of goodness. And you want to pass on that knowledge, which is a requirement, according to your ability, for you to teach your family, etc. Tayyib, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you present yourself, it's important. You wouldn't think of someone that gave the khutbah in a singlet. Not because of something haram, but because it's not appropriate. Tayyib, how you carry yourself in society, how you carry yourself with your family, this is also important. How you carry yourself at work with your friends. If they see you, wallah, this guy's dodgy. I don't want to deal with this guy. Even if you're the scholar of scholars. So, regarding seeking knowledge, it's good to seek, and we need to seek, and we need to get knowledge. We need to learn, and we need to pass on that knowledge. But we need to understand, without etiquette, you will never be a good student of knowledge, and we'll talk about that. Nor will anyone take from you, which inshallah Azza wa Jal, we'll also discuss a little bit in the next point. The student of knowledge without adab will never truly progress. Student of knowledge without adab, without etiquette, will never truly progress. You get a student of knowledge, he doesn't have manners. He will always be a problem for himself. Give me an example. Someone give me an example. How will a student of knowledge that doesn't have proper adab, how will he always be limited in the knowledge that he has and in his progress of seeking knowledge? Fadl, give me an example. That's him with others. But he himself, how is he always going to be prevented from reaching those high levels of knowledge? How will he lose connections? Okay, this is one way. This is one example. That someone who doesn't have etiquette, doesn't carry himself well, doesn't speak well, he's rough in his dealings, etc. Is the sheikh going to get out of his time to give that person extra time and attention? No. That person is going to cut connections off with himself. For example, you have students of knowledge who, mashallah, their etiquettes are good, their motivation is good, their consistency is good, their punctuality is good. These people, sometimes the sheikh will do private lessons for them, for example. And because of their goodness, they got to reap more fruits. They got to get more benefit. But the one who's rough, the way that he speaks is disrespectful, etc., the sheikh's not going to give him extra attention. But the sheikh sees him as a liability. I don't want this person around me. This person causes issues for us. So he prevents himself from having connections. Shayyid. Give me another example. 3 examples at least. Another example.
Patience.
Good, explain.
They don't have patience when dealing with the sheikh or with other people. They're going to obviously...
Very good. People that get upset very quickly, too sensitive, or they don't have patience in dealing with the sheikh, they end up not being able to continue. So he comes first week, second week, something happens, boom, he leaves. He's too sensitive. He didn't have the etiquette of being patient with the teacher. He didn't have the etiquette of being patient with the teacher, so he couldn't handle the class for whatever reason. Yalla, he goes. Whether he couldn't handle the style, he couldn't handle the length, he couldn't handle the homework that was required, he couldn't handle sometimes maybe the teacher was a little bit rough in the dealing. He couldn't handle these things, so he leaves. When he left, who did he harm? He harmed himself. Because he prevented himself from all of that goodness. Part of the etiquette of the student of knowledge that he needs to be a person of patience. Jayyid. Explain.
You're lazy, you stop coming to class, you slack off.
Very good. Laziness. And you're lazy, you're going to hinder your own progress. From the etiquette of the student of knowledge is that he needs to be a person who's active, a person who's got energy in seeking knowledge. He has high aspirations. If you, for example, anyone been in a race? I'm sure some of you have been in a race. Jayyid. If you're racing a car, for example, if you are racing and you take your foot off the accelerator, just for even a little bit, what ends up happening between the difference between you and the person that you're racing? He starts to pull away. You just took your foot off the floor just for a short time. Okay? Or you just press your brake, just a little tap of the brake. He flies past and you slow down. Even though there's the slightest of taps on the brake. This is an example of, and a parable of, being lazy and seeking knowledge. You have two people start at the same time. One, tabarakallah, is consistent in his seeking of knowledge, and he's got energy, and tabarakallah, he flies. The other one could do the same. But because of his laziness, he stops or he drops off, and he misses out so much good. Come 5-10 years later, one, tabarakallah, is in a shaykh and in da'wah and memorized, etc. And the other one is still sitting on the wall. No offense to the brother sitting on the wall. We've explained, if you're old or you have a reason, no issue, you can sit on the wall. Anyone who doesn't, I'll see you in 10 years, same on the wall. Allah understand. Jayyid, for laziness. Okay, amongst many other examples. If the student of knowledge has the etiquette, he can be good in himself. He can be beneficial. He'll continue to grow. Jayyid, and he only gets better and better and better. But if he doesn't have etiquette, he doesn't have the etiquette of the student of knowledge, he's going to hinder himself. He's going to cause himself issues. Tayyib, what about between him and others? So, Ziyad, what did you say?
I said that people won't take from him.
Good. If he doesn't have etiquette, this is a big one. And I'm sure you guys can think of examples. Sometimes he could be a shaykh. Again, but he doesn't have the etiquette of the shaykh. What ends up happening? Do people take him seriously? No one takes him seriously. Even his own mates, they take him seriously. Sometimes you have someone who's called a sheikh, he's saying, you're not a sheikh. Or why do you call yourself sheikh? or just give up on the Shaykh title. Now, because he doesn't, not because he doesn't have the knowledge of a Shaykh, but because he doesn't have the character of a Shaykh, he doesn't have the etiquette of a Shaykh. There was one brother recently I was speaking to, and he was talking a lot about knowledge, and he believes that he should be able to get more involved in da'wah, etc. And I told him, for a person, he may have some knowledge. He may have some knowledge. But if he's got a bit of knowledge with very good character, this person is going to be given preference over a person who's got a lot of knowledge, but his character is very bad. That person with a little bit of knowledge, but enough, he's going to be given preference if his character is a person of knowledge. As opposed to another person, he could be a scholar of scholars, but if his character is very, very, very bad, then this person, no one's going to give him a position. And anywhere he goes, he's going to cause issues. No one's going to take him seriously. Okay? No one's going to, either he's offensive, or he's very bad in his dealings, or he's not honest, or he's not trustworthy. No one's going to take him seriously, and he's going to cause big issues in da'wah. What else? What other issues when it comes to the etiquette of seeking knowledge with others that's going to cause a problem if he doesn't have?
One of the things that came to mind was if someone is bad to himself, and obviously with the now bad trainings with other people, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then take out the barakah from his journey to these things.
Jayd, you're removing the barakah from, this is one that it crosses over to both. It's mainly in yourself. The barakah is removed from yourself. When you have knowledge and you don't implement your knowledge, what ends up happening? You could be sinful. You could be sinful. Why? Because the stakes are higher for the student of knowledge. When you have knowledge, the more knowledge you have, the higher the stakes are for you. The more important it is for you to implement that knowledge of yours. Tayyib. Part of you giving da'wah, you don't implement your knowledge, you don't have etiquette in the knowledge that you are meant to hold, then Allah Azza wa Jalla can remove the barakah from your da'wah even. The barakah from your da'wah is removed. And that's why you see some people, subhanAllah, there are some speakers, get both speakers, they could say the exact same words. But one enters straight into the heart, the other one you just don't want to listen to. They could be saying the exact same words in the exact same style. But subhanAllah, when one person says it, straight away it enters your heart. Usually because there's etiquette there. He's got barakah in his da'wah. And the other person, for whatever reason, that barakah is removed. And they speak, you don't feel like, sometimes you just khalas, you don't want to listen. Now, this feeling in the heart could very well be from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tayyib. Another etiquette between you and dealing with others.
If they're not good at taking critique or feedback, then that can affect how they deliver, like how you cater.
Jayyid. You start to surround yourself only with yes men. You start to not implement your own knowledge. For example, when the Prophet said, Din al-Nasiha, the religion is all about sincerity and giving advice. Part of sincerity is giving advice, So if you're a student of knowledge or a shaykh, and someone gives you advice, if you can't handle any critique, any criticism that comes to you, la, that's not me, and you're wrong, and then. You start to surround yourself with only with yes men. So if you've got wrong, all you end up doing is cementing the wrong that you have. And this is a big problem. This is a massive, massive, massive issue. Even in da'wah, especially in da'wah. Where a person only surrounds himself with yes men. And the people around him, the shaykh could eat a burger with bacon in it. And the people around him, oh, mashallah shaykh, tabarakallah, I don't know what your justification is, but I'm sure you're getting hasanat now. Okay? Because they're yes men. Whatever he does, 100% needs to be right. Even if it's clearly wrong. Why? Because he's surrounded himself with those people because he can't handle any criticism. This is a very good point. One of the issues, I was hoping one of you said it, but none of you did, jazakumullah khairan. One of the issues is the wrong fatwa that are given. The wrong fatwa that are given. A person doesn't know his level. So, a brother, he knows a little bit, he has a bit of deen, he's got a bit of knowledge, beautiful. He should know his level. How do you know your level when you've got etiquette of the student of knowledge? One brother, Allah yahdi, this is in the time of when the takfiris were very loud. One of them, hadahullah, he was asked a question and about is this person a Muslim or not, and kafaru, boom, smashed him. kafir, for reason 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was asked a question on wudu. He goes, Allahu Alam, I'm not sure, ask a sheikh. On takfir, the highest thing, the highest level of knowledge you get to. Easy, he's a kafir. Outside of the fold of Islam. But for wudu, sorry, I'm not sure, ask a sheikh. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You don't have enough fee and shyness in front of Allah Azza wa Jal to say, Wallah, matters of wudu, I can't give an answer. How can I give an answer and not I'll research, because you don't have the tools to research. I don't know, ask a sheikh. You've got enough fear of Allah to say that. But matters of takfir, you have no issue making takfir on someone. How does that make sense? Where's the logic, yani? But you know how they get to that level? Because they don't have etiquettes. They never went through the etiquette of a student of knowledge for them to know how a student of knowledge is meant to carry himself. When you study the etiquettes of a student of knowledge, you know the lane that you're meant to stay in. You know, say stay in your lane, you know that lane when you study the etiquette of a student of knowledge. And the vast majority of issues that you see in da'wah, it's because of this lack of problem. It's because of this lack of etiquette that led to this problem, my apologies, that they haven't either studied it or, unfortunately, they haven't implemented it. They've studied it, but they haven't implemented it. So one thing that we want to make sure that we do is that we study the etiquettes and make sure that we implement those etiquettes. As we mentioned, there are some other books, and I do recommend them, beginning with the Bakr Abu Zayd's book. If that's something that you can study in your spare time, even if it's, again, once a week, from one of the mashayikh on YouTube. The books are everywhere. And if you're able to study Arabic and read Arabic and understand Arabic, then there's many of explanations on that book and online that you can get, inshallah Azza wa Jal.
What's the name of the book?
Etiquettes of the Student of Knowledge. Or Etiquettes of Seeking Knowledge. Etiquettes of Seeking Knowledge. By Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd. Finally, what do we want to achieve when we go through this? Like we say with any science or any book or any topic that we teach, we want to be people that as we're going through, we're improving. We want to improve. Just like when we go through, for example, the fiqh of tahara. We want to make sure we're correcting any mistakes that we have and we're implementing whatever we learn. The fiqh of salah, we correct mistakes that we have and we implement that which we learn. The Quran, how to study the Quran, tajweed, etc. We fix our mistakes and we implement what we learn. Same thing with the etiquettes. What we want to achieve is every week we're learning something, we're getting better. We start to change ourselves. We should be able to see that change within ourselves. That every week I'm getting better. If, dear brothers, as a student of knowledge, your mother and father told you you're getting worse, there's a problem. If your wife tells you you're getting worse, there's a problem. If your children tell you you're getting worse, there's a problem. If your colleagues or your workers or your boss say you're getting worse, all of these are problems. All of these are problems. A person, the more knowledge that he gets, the more religious that he gets, how should his character be? The better he should be becoming. But if the more deen you have, the more knowledge you have, everyone around you says, Wallah, bro, you're getting worse. Not because they want to stay on haram and you don't want to do the haram anymore, no. Because of the way that you speak, the arrogance that you show. Na'am, or because you justify certain things for yourself and you don't make the same excuse for others. Or you're speaking without knowledge, etc., etc., etc. That's what we don't want. That's a massive issue. And a person needs to re-look at himself and ask himself, am I taking knowledge the right way? And this is, inshallah, Azza wa Jalla, what we want to make sure that we leave this course. So throughout the course, we're getting better, and we leave this book as actual students of knowledge with the right etiquette, inshallah. And that may mean big changes. And if you at the end of this book are still getting skin fades, there's a problem. It means you haven't understood the whole point of what we're talking about. Okay, I'm giving you a practical example of what it means by big changes. Jayyid? At the end of it, Allahu Alam, I might be strict and say, if you're coming to class and you're not in a thawb and sunnah cap, Allahu Alam, if you can see in the class, I'm not sure. Jayyid? But, we'll see how strict we become at the end of the book, inshallah. Look, if you dress like Yahya, tabarakallah, the turtleneck, skivvy, tabarakallah, maybe I'll let you come in. Or Rayhan, tabarakallah as well. It looks like he's going to Darling Harb after this. Allahu Alam. Okay? If they still doing stuff on Tuesday nights in Darling Harbour, or they're not anymore? They're fine. We'll see what we try and implement more strictly at the end. But this is wallah, very, very, very important. Okay? This is very important. The talk of all of the Salafi students, they talk about knowledge and they go on akhlaq, all of this is rubbish. All is rubbish. The Salafi students have the most akhlaq. They have the best of akhlaq. But it's tabi'ah, it's the nature of people. It's the nature of people. Go to the Sufis who are Lebanese, and their students are exactly the same as the students of the Salafis. There's no difference. Those guys like to punch on, these guys like to punch on. Adi. Go to the Pakistani Sufis and go to the Pakistani Salafis, they're exactly the same. They're both very nice, they're very cool and humble, until there's a disagreement. Then both of them, you see a different face. Now, people are the same. People are the same whether they're here or they're there. But what we want to make sure is we actually implement the knowledge. We don't just want to claim and say we follow Quran and Sunnah. We want to make sure we actually implement the Quran and Sunnah. Jayyid. And that comes through the akhlaq and the adab of a true follower of the Prophet ﷺ and the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. هذا والله أعلم صلى الله عليه وسلم محمد وعلى آله محمد وصحبه أجمعين.